Does that seem like a delusional
So what
statement?
you're saying is when you made a statement like that, they wanted to have you tested to see if you were crazy. You're nuts.
Basically, right. Delusional is crazy, right, in layman's terms?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it depends on the delusion, I guess you could say. You know, think about it. Some people could have an incorrect belief surrounding whether if they walk out the door of their apartment, they're going to get hit by a car. You know, is that phobia? Is that realistic? Is that, you know, what are they basing that on? Like, I can't leave this apartment and go outside because I'm going to get hit by a car.
Uh-huh.
Is that delusional?
I'd say it's crazy. Not, you know, not like a serial killer crazy, you know.
Right, or it could be a way that person, an idiosyncratic way that person communicates their fear of life, or that they have a memory of something bad that happened to them and it consumes them, so they communicate that way.
Yeah.
So basically what we're talking about in delusions when it comes to being crazy, as you might call that.
I would say any delusion is crazy, a sign of craziness.
Well, by nature, the term delusion means that the person has a fixed belief about something that's incorrect.
Right.
And it's not real, it's not true.
So according to my definition, everybody on the planet's delusional, right?
Right, exactly. And you could make a case
I don't want to
for
talk about that at this time, but you might know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, you could make a case for that.
Right. Everybody's delusional except me, right?
Okay. Well,
now, because you know, I've told you, I think many times, like I believe science is a religion, right? And I would argue that, like, I consider like psychology part of philosophy,
right.
And I believe philosophy is the only true science, including mathematics, some of mathematics, not all of it, right? Those are the only true science. Well, philosophy is the only true science, including psychology and mathematics, right? When it's not abused, right? When it's not been used to lie. So, yeah. But what do you think about my belief that science is a religion?
Well, some people can believe in science like people believe in a religion, which would be that they just take it for granted on faith, for example, that science is going to solve all the mysteries of the universe. So that it becomes cult-like in that regard. But I don't believe that science has that ability, because science is a methodology.
Yeah, you told me that before, like, I remember now, and you reminded me of what I wanted to ask you, right?
Yeah.
That, like, you were talking about your friend, and I asked you about, it doesn't seem like there's near enough experimentation going on in psychology on the mind, right? Potentialities of the mind, right? And you said it seems like most psychologists are afraid to go into the world of, how would you describe it?
Well, for example,
paranormal?
Well, paranormal could be, but anything, for example, if you invoke something that is not based on materialism, like a cause and effect, where you have an atom or something and it bumps another atom and so it has a cause and effect, it's beyond scientific methodology. So to say, for example, that I can have a broadcast a thought, or I can actually have a communication with another consciousness somewhere else where there's no, there's apparently nothing going on between me and the other person, that would be beyond scientific methodology, because it would appear to have no materialistic base.
Where does that arrogance come from? I mean, because you said apparent, right? I mean, does science believe that it can see everything?
You know what? If you asked a good scientist, like Einstein was a good scientist, he would say, of course not.
Oh, I can't believe you said that, right. Knowing how I feel about Einstein's special relativity.
Well, whether you
I feel like you just you just took a knife out and stuck it in my chest.
Apologize. I'll use a different example. Which scientist would you prefer that I use?
Well, I mean, I shouldn't tell you who you're going to name. If you believe it's Einstein, if you want to viciously attack me...
Okay, I think he's a good scientist. And I think one of the things he believed is that science is a method, and it can't answer questions about things that can't be posed in ways where there's a cause and effect reaction. So therefore, things
wait, you think Einstein based his theories on scientific observation?
Well, clearly he created theoretical principles that had to be proven. So he was imagining things that were true, that he couldn't prove.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, that he couldn't necessarily prove, and then later on people came out and said that certain things that he had proposed, in fact, could be measured. You know, like bending of light, which is an amazing thing to imagine, first of all. And then to see
I don't
that
think so at all,
occurred.
because I don't think so at all. I need to talk to a physicist about that, but as far as my understanding, the bending of light it would happen whether there was, you know, gravity, Einstein gravity, or the regular old-fashioned gravity. Either way, you're going to have the bending of light, and maybe by the exact same amount, because Einstein might have even built his equations based on the observations having to do with Newtonian gravity. I mean, that would make sense, because I'm not sure about this, but maybe they'd already, before Einstein, measured the bending of light due to Newtonian gravity, so Einstein had to fit his equations into that already observed scientific reality, right?
Right.
He just said it happened for a different reason, right? He didn't change the numbers, as far as I know. He just said, and I haven't studied this part of special relativity because I got so many other attacks on him. I'm dealing with those, right? But he just changed the reason. He didn't change the numbers.
Well, I'm not sure how you would describe it. The reason I said that it was an amazing thing is who knew that light could be bent like that?
I think they did know it.
Well,
but he said other things that nobody could. Nobody else was insane enough to imagine.
If you think about it, the way science operates is you first imagine something that we don't know the answer to. You know, you go, okay, how's
not
this?
all the time.
What about the double helix concept?
Not all the
DNA?
time. Sometimes you observe something and you say, "Oh, wait." You know, like that's how the generator was created, right? They saw that, you know, they got electricity was created when they put a wire through a magnetic field, right? And I was like, "Whoa!"
Remember that story about how the cotton gin was created? The inventor, was that Whitney? Saw a cat pawing a bird through a bird cage, and so that caused him to think, "Wow, what if we could make a thing where cotton is rolled past, you know, like cat claws, and pull the cotton from the ball, which is the biggest difficulty they had." And so he created a cotton gin based on seeing something and going, "Wow!"
Well, that really speaks to something I spoke about on the radio once, that we can learn from animals, right? And you know, at the time they asked me, "Give us an example," and I was panicked, right, because I didn't have an example to give, you know, on the radio. And then something came to me. I said, "Well, we can learn sexual inhibition." And the guy said, "Well, funny you should mention that. Tonight at the zoo, we're having an exhibit of animals having sex," right? So, you know, I got lucky on that one. But no, you give a great example of how we've learned from animals. I never heard that story before. That's a great story, yeah.
Well, so back to the idea about, you know, what he was thinking about in science. He would say that science can't answer questions that can't be formulated in a certain way. So the question about, is there a God, and are you God, for example, or am I God? You know,